know if I want to put this on camera, but probably one of the most embarrassing moments when I was a kid was when I was growing up racing. My first race, they got me all strapped into my car. I was only, I think, 5 years old. I remember telling my mom I had to go to the bathroom. And of course, they're like, well, you're about to race, you're gonna have to hold it. I went out, I did my whole race, and my mom was like, okay, you can get out of the car and go to the bathroom. And I just sat there, I was like, I don't have to anymore.
I almost accidentally burned down my dorm because I microwaved ramen without water in it. Everyone knew me as the girl who almost burned down the dorms, even in my classes, because a lot of people lived in the dorms as well. So it was really embarrassing.
What is the funniest moment of your life?
That time when me and Anna were hanging out, I wrapped myself in a blanket and I could not get out.
Get stuck in a blanket burrito?
Yeah, got stuck in a blanket burrito. Could say that.
My most embarrassing moment from childhood. Oh man, there's a book in there somewhere.
There was a time when I really liked this girl. I think I must have been in like 5th or 6th grade. It was around Valentine's Day. I was doing what I thought was kind of a romantic thing and sending her little secret admirer notes with clues leading up to Valentine's Day that, you know, I would reveal myself as her secret admirer. I went to her house with flowers and a little teddy bear and some chocolates, went to her front door, knocked on the door. Yeah, I think her mom answered, and went and got her. She came to the door. She seemed very flattered. All of that seemed really fine. As I turned to walk away, I fell off of her front porch, the steps, flat on my face into a big pile of snow. Suffice it to say, we never dated.
Junior high, I always took trips to Washington, D.C. when I was living in Ohio, growing up there. And we were at this restaurant on one of the last days, and I went to the bathroom and I walked into the wrong bathroom. I walked into the men's bathroom, not paying attention at all, and all of a sudden I see my gym teacher there. I'm like frozen, and he just starts laughing. It was super embarrassing, but it was even worse because he made the announcement to everybody outside the restaurant. As if I wasn't mortified enough, he decided to bring in multitudes of people in on the funny joke that I walked in the wrong bathroom. So I was mortified on the way back and very traumatized, and I don't really care for him very much.
In my keyboard class, I pissed my pants. Who knew that I would still be doing that?
I think I was on a family road trip and I threw up in the car and got it all over myself, and everyone just bolts out of the car and I just kind of sat there in my shame. I almost said good times, but that's not good times at all, no.
I did have like a lot of anxiety and social anxiety growing up, so I feel like any time that I had to get up and give any sort of like public speech was probably really difficult for people in the audience to sit through.
There was a raffle giveaway at my elementary school at one of like the assemblies. My name was called to win like this very fancy dress, which it was news to me that I was in the raffle, but I guess my mom had put my name in so I could win it for my sister, but I was very shocked at the time. They gave me a DVD copy of Monster House 2 to kind of make me feel a little better, I guess.
I ate an octopus. I loved it. Takoyaki.
This might not be the most recent, but it was way longer than it should have been. It had been until I want to say 2 years ago that I had tried Cool Ranch Doritos. Not sure why I never got around to it.
Probably takoyaki. Tried for the first time takoyaki. Josh and I watch a lot of anime, and it's a big thing at like school festivals and all sorts of things, which is just like basically like octopus balls but with stuff, like creamy things or whatever. Not a fan of octopus, never have been, but I always try just to make sure I still don't like it.
Raw crab. I had never had raw crab before. There's this place in LA called like House of Crab, and they have like this raw crab dish, and it was my first time trying it, but it was pretty good. Yeah, I approve.
The last thing I tried for the first time was flying across the world to different countries. It was amazing, and I recommend to everyone to travel if they have the means.
I think it was lamb. It was bad.
That I don't really know. I'm not sure I really have an answer for that one.
The last thing I tried for the first time is learning Japanese, using some apps and watching some online videos and taking a deep dive into researching some of the culture and history. been doing it with my wife and daughter, and it's been a lot of fun.
It was probably some sort of food. I used to be a really picky eater when I was a kid. I would order plain cheese pizza and then take the cheese off the pizza and just eat like the bread underneath. And I did that until I was like 22 when I finally tried like a pepperoni pizza with the cheese on it. That was actually really good, and I've actually eaten my pizza like a normal person ever since.
I would probably go to Taiwan. Like, I've heard a lot about it, like, my whole life, and it just seems like a safe but very different experience, which I would like to experience a lot. Like, they have good food and the views look nice and things like that.
Oh gosh, that's a tough one to answer.
It would probably either be Australia, because I lived there when I was a kid and I want to see some childhood friends, or I would go to England and visit our colleagues who live across the pond.
There are so many countries I want to visit. I would rather take like a complete around the world trip, but it's got to be like a toss up between like Paris, Egypt, Italy, Japan. I would probably just spin a globe and point and just go there.
I've always wanted to go to Iceland. I just really like the nature there. That would be my dream travel spot.
Tokyo. The culture, the food, the language, the people, places, food. Mostly the food, actually.
I mean, it's kind of cliche, probably Ireland. I've always enjoyed the scenic views of, that I've seen of Ireland.
I would want to go, like, make my way from England to Paris, through parts of Europe to the Mediterranean, and then Japan. I'm just gonna, like, make my way across and down.
I'd probably go back to Spain, because that was my favorite place I visited, or maybe Greece, because I've never been.
So I have a long list. I truly think that if somebody came in the door right now and was like, hey, we're gonna go to blank, I would be so thrilled to go. Next on my bucket list of trips is visiting the UK. However, I've really wanted to go to Banff National Park in Canada for a very long time.
In real life, I would be a hero, but my fantasy crazy broken mind wants to be a villain.
Hero, hands down. I don't have it in me to be an asshole to other people, but I refuse to do that intentionally.
I'd like to hope hero. If I was a villain, I don't even know what I would do.
I like being a villain, but I also like being a hero. No, hero. Heroes always sort of like win, and if I was a villain, I'll just get beat up every single time.
They both sound like a lot of work. I would probably just try to hide the fact that I had any superpowers at all. Because, like, I'm afraid of responsibility a lot of the time. So, I don't know, just probably live the same if I had superpowers.
I want to say I'd be a superhero, but probably not. Yeah, I feel like things would probably take a turn at some point.
I would definitely be a hero. Are you kidding me? This is like good guy, bad guy. The good guy always wins. But in real life, the bad guy always wins. So I still stick with hero. They're always better looking too. Not to be vain, but we are in LA.
I would probably be a villain, but I might be saying that to sound cool. I'd probably be a hero.
I think I'm going to go with hero here. I've always liked to think that I've got some kind of hero consciousness. I was a Boy Scout when I was a kid. My wife and I, raising our daughter, we tried to raise her with what we called superhero consciousness. I would much rather have that great power and use it to help people, and I feel like it would be irresponsible to do anything else.
Everybody that I work with, because they're all so real. So that's really refreshing.
Probably the creativity around the whole studio, the people that I work with. It's a very open creative outlet that allows everybody to kind of pursue the things that they enjoy. And I like having that freedom where you're not really tied down.
Endless Smile Studios is a fun, creative playground. It's the culmination of all of my dreams. And I get to work with some of the most amazing people. Everybody here is driven and wants to do something creative. They're passionate. I mean, so many things, all the things, everything. I love everything about being at Endless Smile Studios. I love everything about what we've created here.
The people, hands down. I haven't ever really worked in an environment where I feel allowed to express myself, like, truly authentically. Regardless of what the studio turns into, and the projects that we make. At the end of the day, I'm here for the people.
I'd say my favorite part about working here is getting to spend all the workday with my friends doing stuff. It really makes the time go by and always makes whatever we're working on enjoyable.
I feel like I get to call myself a writer with some authority. Before this job, I was a guy who was aspiring to something, and now I'm a guy who is paid to do it, and that feels pretty great, and the novelty still hasn't worn off.
Probably just the people. I really like the people that I work with. We're all very different, I feel like. Yeah, I think we have a lot of funny people.
You guys are fun. People are fun. Projects are fun. There's a lot of creativity from like the voiceover to the photography to the making videos. Like, I just think it's a fun multimedia kind of place.
Everything is that my dad works at Endless Mass Studios. That means I pass him. And he's on the internet. You know what my thing is? The more my dad hires people, the more friends I get.